Ms. Ashley?
Yes. Laura Murphy, let me unmute yourself.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay,
Yes.
great. Thank you. So just wanted to say thank you so much to the Parks and Rec commissioners who have joined for the FOSPA Saturday Park Work Days. These have been very successful events, a really great opportunity to mingle with folks in the neighborhoods. And it's been great to see, in particular, Ms. Nielsen, Mr. Pacheco, definitely recognize that you've been attending those events and would encourage and invite all of the rest of
right here
the
too.
commissioners to join us. I'm sorry? And that's all. Just wanted to say thanks and look forward to seeing you out there again. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. And then Ms. Ashley, anybody else ready to hop on?
Public comment is now open. Please raise your hand. Seeing no word. Seeing no one, Chair.
Cool. I was really excited to say public comments now open, and I botched it. It was too much pressure. All right. Cool. Moving on to item number 4, approval of minutes.
I'd like to make a motion
that the minutes be approved as written.
I second that motion.
Okay. Do we go to the vote now? I'm still learning. I apologize. Do I go through, or does somebody else?
Do a roll call.
Okay. Roll call vote. Commissioner Moulton,
Aye.
Commissioner Nielsen,
Aye.
Commissioner Gray, Commissioner Gray, give me maybe a thumbs up if you can't do the unmute. Okay. Commissioner White.
Aye. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Commissioner Cadigan.
Aye.
Must have muted you.
Commissioner Vice Chair Maxwell. I'm sorry, Bob.
Aye.
And Franco Pacheco, I say aye as well. So that passes.
Trying to get closer. Why?
No, I thought I had. No.
You're still unmuted, Mr. Gray. There you go. Great job. Shooting down, number 5, review of agenda. At this time, Commissioners, is there any item that has arisen in the last 72 hours since posting deadline
Muted, I guess.
that we'd like to bring up?
No, I'm unmuted now.
Yeah.
Not quite, Commissioner Gray. Any hands? Once, twice, and sold. All right. Moving on to item number 6, business items.
Okay.
Number 1, discussion on returning to in-person meetings. Mr. Mewis, can you give us the synopsis on this one?
So as we get ready to start opening up freely and getting more and more restrictions eased with COVID-19, we are looking at a potential return to in-person meetings. So we just wanted to open up the dialogue with the commission to find how comfortable you are on being able to do that, as well as kind of just giving you an overview that we're kind of looking at potentially July or August for this. We are still looking at, the functionality of a potential hybrid, as we do understand that virtual meetings has provided more participation from the public in some instances and made it more available to the masses. So we are trying to figure out what's best for that, while we do understand that a lot of different commissions and whatnot are ready to come back. So we just wanted to open it up for the commission to kind of just have a discussion about it.
Thank you, Mr. Mewis. Do we have any thoughts from our wonderful commissioners? Mr. Cadigan.
Yeah, I think personally, I think the sooner the better. I think that meeting as a group and face-to-face definitely has its advantages, more so than the online meetings.
I think the same. I feel that, face to face is a better way to communicate with people than online. I personally feel that way.
Okay. Any other thoughts, commissioners? Commissioner Nielsen?
Yes, I want to third that in the sense that I think we have more motivation and more ability to really see what, on paper, what's going on, and it just creates more group effort.
Thank you, Commissioner Moulton.
Being a commissioner that has never done an in-person meeting, I could definitely see how face-to-face communication would assist us as a commission in communicating and being able to, talk things over a little more personably. But I do like being able to get it out to the public more, because, if we're being honest, a lot of people aren't going to come. Whereas if it's online and they can do it from the comfort of their own home, it's incentivized for them. So I'm for in-person meetings. I'm also hopeful that we can do some kind of, Zoom or YouTube live or whatever they got these days, so that people can still interact that way as well.
On the note, I have a question, Mr. Mewis, then. You briefly mentioned the ability to continue kind of that aspect. So if we were to go live in person, we still have the ability to have a webinar or a mechanism similar to what we have now?
That is the goal, and it's a work in progress. We're trying to figure that out. And I really think that City Council will they will be kind of I don't want to say the testing ground, but they're going to probably be the first ones that really get into that. And we will have a clear understanding on how easy it is and what the parameters would be moving forward with various commissions that would do that.
I was thinking maybe, like you were saying, maybe some of the commission, somebody may have a problem with physically being able to make it to that one, and they could go online and be there too at the same time. Is that possible?
Well, the plan will be to continue to stream them on YouTube, and we were doing that prior to the pandemic, and the goal will be to continue to do that. I think it's the public engagement piece, which Zoom does allow through the webinar feature, which is finding that balancing act to make it work for everybody.
So, Mr. Mewis, I guess last question for you before because it seems like we don't. You know what? I won't even say that. Last question from the guy in the green shirt. So, come August 16th, is there a feasibility or viability that we will be in person with the streaming? And is that something we have to vote on, or is that just a will of God?
I think there's a high probability that by August we should be able to meet in person, with the streaming at a minimum live on YouTube. Don't necessarily know about the webinar feature and how those interconnect, but I do see the August meeting really, kind of taking that step into some sense of normalcy for our meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Mewis. I guess then my last question to our commission is there anybody with us now that would have a problem with possibly being back live in August, or have some discomfort? Because I think that's the most important. Making sure people feel safe and comfortable. Mr. Maxwell?
No, I'm all for us meeting in person. I'm chomping at the bit for that.
Cool. So Commissioner Cadigan.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that the Recreation and Parks Commission support meeting in person as soon as possible, and to direct Dan to convey that.
Cool.
I'd
We'll
like
do a roll.
Second that motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Gray. I got ahead of myself there. Okay, let's do a roll call vote. Commissioner Moulton,
Aye.
Commissioner Nielsen,
Aye.
Commissioner Gray,
Aye.
Commissioner White,
Aye.
Commissioner Cadigan,
Aye.
Commissioner Maxwell.
Aye.
I vote too, right, Mr. Mew? So, aye. Strong aye, so you for bringing it up, Mr. Muse.
All right. Wait, I'm sorry, you kind of missed there. What was the question?
Oh, I just said thank you for bringing it to us, and so I guess we'll move forward that direction. I'm sorry.
Yes, all right, sounds good.
I've been playing with trying not to be unmuted too much. I don't want to give you a free show of children behind me. Moving on then, business items number 2, review and discuss the Adopt a Park program. And point A is discuss allowing schools to adopt city parks, and we'll send it to you, Commissioner Cadigan.
Okay, thank you. The reason I requested the schools to be put on the agenda was it came to my attention and kind of in a roundabout way. I don't know if it was accurate or not, but in the past there were some issues with allowing schools in particular to adopt a park, and I think that is something that I've put into the program. I want to make sure that we do allow and do accept that. I think it's a great a tool for teachers and schools to use. So I just want to make sure that individual schools can also adopt a park and be able to take ownership and pride in the park. So just want to kind of throw that out there because I think there might have been an issue in the past. And that's that for that, unless anyone has any questions as far as schools are concerned.
How would you pick the school?
The schools would pick us.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. If we don't get any school participation, that's fine, But I think that as a commission or a city, I think that it might be our responsibility to kind of put it out there to let them know that is available if they wish to do that. And if they do, great. If not, that's their prerogative.
I think that's a good idea.
Commissioner Nielsen?
Rich, I have a question. How do we get the information to the schools? Do you go specifically to?
We're not there yet.
Oh, not there. Okay.
No.
So
No,
that's
this
fine.
whole program and document is still in its infancy, so it's in draft form. I think that once we cement this document as part of a official city document, I think then we can try to sell it.
And my other question is, as far as I went through the whole thing, and do you want me to send you my ideas and suggestions? Or are we discussing them tonight?
I think we'll discuss them. I'll take notes, but it would also be beneficial if they were written down and sent. I don't know if you'd be able to send them directly to me because of the Brown Act or what. So I'm sure that'd be fine, but I just want to make sure that we're playing it safe. So it might have to go through Dan or Terry and then through me. So whatever the process is, yeah, an email, some sort of in writing would be great in addition to my notes.
Okay. On this particular number A, anybody else have questions for Mr. Cadigan? It's not looking like that. We'll go B, then we'll go to public comment, I'm pretty sure. So, Mr. Cadigan, do you want to discuss the fees donations that you have envisioned for the Adopt a Park program?
Yeah, this is the older document that was sent. So did everyone get the document earlier that has, in fact, the donations in there?
Yeah.
Donations would be on page page 6 and 7. Does everyone have that document?
It's looking like we're a mix here, Commissioner Cadigan. Mr. Munoz, is there a way we could share the document if you have it readily available, just so the commissioners that don't have it can see it?
I'm on my laptop,
Yeah, the
and
one
it
that
will
was
take me a
sent.
minute to find it.
Yeah, the one that was sent this morning is the Adopt a Park document that did not have the donations in it. I think I sent you one, right, Chris? Sent Chris a copy, and then
Yes.
and Terry and Dan.
Is it on the Adopt a Park application or is it before that?
No, if you
I
don't see it, you don't have it.
Rich, I sent a separate email with your revised version.
Okay, yeah, that's the one that should have it. Was the separate email that went out.
Yeah, I sent it to everybody.
Oh,
I thought that's the one I had, but I don't see any fees.
Like I said, page 6, the header is donations and gifts. Page 7, donations and gifts. Then it goes to frequently asked questions with a commemorative application on page 11.
Okay. I mean, I have it. If you guys can't find it, we'll figure out a way around that. But Commissioner Cadigan, can you give us just a brief by hit, just so?
Sure. Again, this is just in draft, kind of perusing what other cities have done. So I didn't want to obviously reinvent the wheel. So this is a mixture of numerous documents into ours. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. If someone wants to donate, items or money or whatever, they can do so. Then we go into kind of a commemorative thing. I think that was what Chris suggested, and I thought that was a great idea. Someone want to donate a bench or picnic table, we could put a plaque on it. So in the on the second page 7, if you guys have it there. Okay, yeah. So go to if you want to go to page 6, can everyone see the document?
Page 4.
This one only has 5 pages.
Yeah, that's the wrong one.
It would have been
email you this, Dan, real quick.
That's the wrong one. I sent a separate email with the one that had all the pages.
oh man.
A revised one.
Terry, this was the one from today.
Okay, well, I made a mistake, but before last week when I sent it out I had the revised one on.
Well, while we develop that,
I do apologize.
these things happen. Commissioner Cadigan, can you just give us a quick list off of prices that you had in mind? Then we can discuss it briefly or give suggestions.
Yeah, let me send this to Dan real quick. And Okay, it's sent. Okay. Let me get the Zoom back up if I can see that. Okay. Like I was talking about, I picked 5 items that maybe if someone wanted something commemorative, one's a 15-gallon tree, 24-inch box tree, a bench, picnic table, or some sort of specialty feature. I didn't put prices to anything because obviously I don't know what that would cost. So that's something we need to discuss. I also put a term in there of 10 years, and City of Santa Cruz had that. I thought that was kind of a good idea. So after 10 years, the person that made that initial commemorative donation can re-up for a fee for maintenance such. If not, then that they don't need to re-up, but the plaque does go away and goes to the person that made that donation. Obviously, the fees are also not only for that item, but also for like a bronze plaque or an engraving or in a rock near a tree or something like that. So that's something that obviously we need some input from the parks guys as far as costs and stuff like that. The application is also pretty self-explanatory, which is on the last page. So, any other questions?
Commissioner Nielsen.
On the types of donations. Now we're talking about adopt a park. How does the donation process fit into adopt a park?
Well, that's another thing we needed to do was probably change that title of the document, because not only does it encompass someone actually wanting to adopt a park and do some physical labor and stuff like that. If someone doesn't want to do any, get their hands dirty, but wants to throw $500 or $100, that process is also in this document. So it just needs a name change.
The whole document, you mean?
Sure. Yeah. Instead of it being called Adopt a Park program, we can throw in, something with donations in there also. That way we don't have to have 2 separate documents. Unless we want to, we can have a donation commemorative program and adopt a park program. So
that's what I would like to suggest, is
separate
separate
them
out. Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think about, okay, if each person may adopt a portion of a park, say somebody want this much of the park, or somebody want to buy, not buy, but give for this part of the park. Can they do that?
I mean, that's up to us. Yeah. Like I said, this is a draft. This is just in its infancy, and we can beat this up and add, delete, whatever we want.
So I have a question, Mr. McCann. So in theory, we're talking about 2 separate concepts. One is the Adopt a Park program, and one is akin to like a park sponsorship program, where they would.
I don't know if I'd call it a sponsorship, but more of a, a donation. Hey, I know you guys want some ADA swings. How much is it? Oh, 10 grand. Well, my association has $10,000 here, you know? So that's what I'm kind of looking at.
Okay.
And-
Well, I guess, go ahead. I'm sorry, Commissioner Cadigan.
And somehow I've lost every single person but you, Franco, on my Zoom when I had all these documents open, and I can't seem to get it back. So anyway, just heads up, I can't see anybody but you, and you're a little square.
I mean, you could probably see better faces. I appreciate that. But does anybody else have any questions, suggestions for Commissioner Cadigan before we moves back to the draft?
Oh, I got it back.
Okay. Mr. Mewis, do you have anything to add to this?
This is a good working document. I definitely can see the potential actually to kind of keep the donations and gifts kind of all included in this under, it could just be a page almost like in lieu of adoption. We also have this other form of sponsor, helping out our parks, and it could just be, a component of it. I do need to go back and take a look. The city does have a donation and gift policy, so we just need to make sure that the two are in line with each other. So other than that, the commission has done good work on this so far. It was originally reviewed by risk management and city attorney, but there has been some changes made, so it does have to still go back for further review. And then we could potentially be ready to roll this out here pretty soon, I think, once the commission is, gives it a thumbs up.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Everything has been kept current after it was reviewed by the attorney, except for the additions of the 2 pages that discuss donations and the commemorative stuff, and the commemorative application. So that stuff obviously has to be reviewed. And like I said, we can change the title instead of having 2 documents. We can. That's not a big deal. We can come up with something.
Dave Fortune is on the call, and he does deal with the commemorative benches and things like that. So I don't know, Dave, do you have any input on this?
So we do actually currently have a program such as this. If someone wants to donate a bench and stuff, so there is actually a means to do that. Correct? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and it almost makes sense to fold everything in together.
Yes.
I have a question for Mr. Fortune. Are you there? My question is, are trees included in the donation commemorative ordinance or resolution that we have now? He's gone.
Did you hear?
I don't know.
He was.
That's one of my questions. Guess we'll have to wait.
But Ms. Patel, are you able to answer these questions?
Hey, Dan, it's Scott here.
Hey, Scott.
I'm not, the commemorative ordinance I'm familiar with deals with street signs. I'm not recalling anything for trees off the top of my head. Nisha's not going to be able to be on, but Yeah, I'm not familiar with a commemorative tree donation policy.
I believe
do
there's
know
one
that-
just for the benches.
Okay. I know there's one for signs, street signs,
Yeah.
and the benches does sound familiar. But I'm not aware of a tree per se. I'll have to look into it.
I know there's been, there is the bench one, and I think I've shared it with some of the commissioners.
I have another question. If somebody adopts a tree, who takes care of it?
That's in the,
Not adopts, but donates, buys a tree and wants it planted in commemoration of something.
yeah, that's already in the document. And it basically says that items such as that are taken care of by the city of Seaside.
Okay.
It says right here, items purchased, installed, or planted or the property of the city of Seaside and shall be maintained by the park staff according to department standards. All commemorative donations shall be approved by the city of Seaside Recreation and Parks Commission. So, yeah, everything's taken care of by us or by the city.
Great.
Bobby, I see that Franco had to leave and you are chairing the meeting for the time being.
Right. We ready to move on?
Well, I think we need to open it up for public comment, and then we have to go back and open it up for public comment for the last item.
Okay, this is the time we're opening it up for public comment on this item.
Okay, Laura Murphy, let me unmute.
Hi again. So on this item, I just wanted to suggest the Environmental Commission would be interested in seeing policies kind of integrated that would address the use of pesticides in parks. We would prefer not to see pesticides used in parks, and certainly would like to see that included in the guidelines.
In the Adopt a Park guideline?
In the Adopt a Park guideline, yeah, because as you have different entities, different community members coming in to do, in particular, I noticed vegetation control. And I'm familiar with neighbors who consider that to mean to use and apply herbicides. And I think that my understanding from prior questions that the Environmental Commission has placed to the city is that herbicides are not used in public spaces, but we would just want to make sure that that's well communicated and understood by any entities that might be doing work in parks. So that would be something I would encourage to outline in the policies or including communication in developing any projects. And I also wanted to encourage including some verbiage that anyone adopting a park engage deliberately in outreach and education with the community that is surrounding the park, and really try to engage the neighbors in an intentional and deliberate way. And that's all the comment that I have right now.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Is there any other public comments?
Seeing no one at this time, Chair.
Thank you. Okay. Do we need to act on this or moving on to the next item?
I think you just need to make recommendations on if you want to leave it as is, or if you want to bring it back and inquire or add some of the recommended changes.
Someone? Anyone?
All right, I'll do it.
Thank you.
Let me do this. Let me rework this. Change the title. obviously, because we've got the donations and stuff. It'll be easy enough to put something about chemicals and stuff like that. There's already stuff about not using power equipment and things like that. As far as putting city policies and procedures, as far as that's concerned, maybe the best thing would be to have a link like I have with the municipal code and stuff like that. If that works, just let me know, Dan, and we can do that. I don't know if that's even something that's available online that could be linked, but that's not a problem. Yeah, like I said, this is just a work in progress. It's just a draft, and just threw a bunch of stuff out there, and if everyone would review it, let me know what your thoughts are, and we can move from there, and I'll have something by next meeting, if not sooner.
Okay, thank you for all your hard work on that, Commissioner Cadigan. Okay, moving on to item 6.3.
Bobby, hold on
Yes,
one
sir.
second. Let's, we forgot to do public comment on the first item. So let's open that one back up for the in-person meeting.
Oh, okay. Backing up to business item number 1.6.1, and discussion on returning to in-person meeting. Is there any public comment concerning this item?
Okay. Oh, Laura Murphy, you may go ahead and unmute. You had your hand up.
Hi, sorry.
Okay.
I have an awful lot to talk about, you guys, and I'm also having trouble where I'm dropping in and out of Zoom, but I think I'm with you.
Yep, we can hear you.
Just wanted to give an overview. The Environmental Commission discussed the same item last week at our meeting, and while we also are excited to meet in person again, definitely find there are many advantages to doing so. We, in general, I think the entire commission felt that having some kind of hybrid to allow for enhanced public participation was very important towards inclusion of a greater population of community participants. And so we seem to strongly feel that continuing to have something of the nature of the Zoom webinar format while we also start to return to meet in person would be really highly encouraged. And so I just wanted to give you a quick synopsis of our overall feeling on that.
Very good, Ms. Murphy. Thank you. Is there any other public comment on this item?
Members of the public wishing to address the commission, please use your raise your hand function. Seeing no one, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, moving down to item 6.3. Discuss issues related to Encanto Park and make recommendations. Okay.
That was myself also. I requested this. I've got an acquaintance that lives on that street, and I've also talked to a few neighbors. If you're not familiar with that is, it's Encanto is up Pilby, make a left on Luzerne, and it's actually a dead end. There is no park. It's basically a large cul-de-sac at the end with a curb painted red, and that the reason it's painted red is because residents are only on, most of the residents are on the left-hand side of the street. There's a big water tower. There's no parking on the, so if you want to park in front of your house, you essentially have to go up, make a U-turn, and then park on the west side of the street. From what I have witnessed from Ring doorbell videos and in my discussions is because it's got such a nice view, there tends to be a lot of vehicles throughout the night that are using that as basically a hangout to do drugs, have sex, and things like that. I've seen myself, because they've showed me, videos of people under the influence walking through front yards, through their plants. I mean, right next to windows, and they are just, you could tell they're high or drunk. Like I said, cars constantly up and down. Now, this says it's a park. Like I said, it's not a park, but the only thing that I can think that we could do to discourage that is to put up some sort of barrier. I don't know, chain link fence with slats in it or what, to take away that view, to discourage that type of behavior. But not only is it a nuisance, it's becoming a safety concern in that neighborhood, according to the people I've talked to. So if you guys want to see where it is, like I said, up Pilby, make a left on Luzerne, and that's right where it is.
Oh. Does anybody have any ideas?
Yeah,
Besides the chain
yeah.
link fence?
Does the police patrol that? Have you
No,
reported this to the police?
I'm sure they do, but they're so busy. I mean, you know, I know the neighbors have called and things like that. I mean, Dan, is there anything? I mean, it is what it is, or is there something that could be done?
They parking in the red curb?
Oh yeah, well, they're parked and they'll stay in their vehicle and you know, do whatever throughout the night. And like I said, I've seen the videos myself of the intoxicated and stoned people going right through bushes in front yards and walking over, you know, right through driveways. And
Hey Rick, but they are parked they're still in the red zone.
yeah, they'll park there because it's a fantastic view. I mean, you could see from the airport to Santa Cruz, you know, that's what they're going for.
Yeah.
You know,
Dave might have some more insight about that location. Dave, are you available to chat?
Yes. I had to switch to my phone. I was having problems with my computer. So in the Parks and Rec, the old master plan, it says, it spells out to divest that property, to sell it.
Mhm.
So that might be a way for Parks and Rec Commission to get funding for other parks projects, would be to sell that property. The ADA accessibility would be so expensive if we tried to create that into a park.
Oh yeah, it's a cliff.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm exaggerating when I say cliff, but
Dave, is there water there?
You know, I don't know offhand.
There's water in the big water tank that's nearby.
Across the street.
Right. Maybe we should look into selling it, you know, and get some money out of it. And then whoever buys it can do what they want with it. It's an idea. Should we make a motion and recommend that to the city council to sell it? I'm all for that. If someone would care to make the motion.
I'll do it. I'd like to make a motion that we direct Dan to convey to city council that the commission recommends divesting Encanto Park as recommended in the past city documents.
I second that motion.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, it's been motioned and seconded to sell Encanto Park.
We're gonna have public comment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, it's been motioned and seconded. Do we have any public comment on this motion?
Okay, members of the public wishing to make public comment, please use your raise your hand function. Seeing no one, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, any commissioners, do you have anything under the question? Okay, seeing none, we'll take a roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Hold on. Commissioner Gray,
Aye.
Commissioner White,
Aye.
Commissioner Daniels,
Aye.
Commissioner Moulton,
Aye.
Commissioner Nielsen,
Aye.
Commissioner Cadigan,
Aye.
and Vice Chair Maxwell.
Aye. Okay, the motion carries. Thank you. Okay, moving on to the next item, number 4, update on the park maintenance and upkeep schedule.
Hold on a second, Bobby, while I pull up the document from Public Works.
Okay.
Go ahead and have some discussion here while I find it.
Okay. I would just like to say, well, that park that just recently opened on Sonoma, the court, the futsal and basketball court, has been getting use. And we also have a trash can and recycling deal there, which is nice because it's staying clean since we've got that there. But it's good to see it being well utilized.
Yeah, I would just like to say that I know that FOSPA has a schedule of their adopted parks, and every weekend they have a 2-hour time frame where people go and plant, clean up, spread mulch, pick up trash, that sort of thing. It's pretty effective, and there's a possibility we could do that with some of the neighbors around the parks there that we need to, the ones they're not taking care of. And that the other part of that is park maintenance and upkeep. We need more water at different parks. I think there's about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 parks that get the water buffalo at this point. But we have more parks than that.
All right. Well, thank you, Commissioner Nielsen. I see Dan's screen is showing the schedule and stuff on it.
Dave Fortune is also able to speak to the schedule for any questions.
Okay, thank you. So I wanted to let the commission know that currently the Parks Department has 5 allocated staff to perform all of these assignments. Right now, we have 1 person that is out for an extended period of time. So we're down to 4 people. So just going over this assignments. So we start with mowing. So it requires 2 staff to perform the assignment. 1 person mows, 1 person edges, blows the hardscape. We have Soper, Metz, City Hall, Laguna Grande gets mowed one time per week. We have 10 parks in open space that get mowed bi-weekly. The non-irrigated parks, we have 6 parks in open space. They get mowed 3 to 4 times a year. And we have agency-owned lots. We have 3 vacant lots that get mowed 3 to 4 times a year. Our irrigation requires 1 to 2 staff, depending upon what's being performed. There's 22 systems in parks, open space, and center medians that monthly the system is checked, as well as the well. The computer programs, there's actually 22 systems. I started to count Home Depot, but we no longer have Home Depot. So there's 22 computer programs that he has to check through at each park. Twice per year, he fills out stormwater reports that are required for our stormwater permit, and then makes repairs as needed. So playground inspections, these are performed monthly. So it requires 1 staff to perform the inspection and more staff depending upon the repairs that may be needed. There's 17 playground structures are inspected. It takes roughly an hour per inspection, and then repairs are as needed. Spray applications. So requires 1 to 2 staff depending upon the area being sprayed. Spraying of herbicides is only performed on medians and alleyways. We're not spraying in the parks. And we do this between April and October. Backflow inspections requires 1 to 2 staff, 1 staff for inspection, 2 for repairs. We do these yearly, and there is a total of 77 backflows inspected by park staff. Each one takes about an hour, and then repairs as needed. Delivery of the water buffalo requires 2 staff to hook up and drop off. The water buffalo is being delivered to 1 to 2 parks a day every week. Dropping off and picking up is about 4 man-hours per day, 20 man-hours per week. Contract oversight, this is performed daily and weekly. So requires 1 staff to meet with and follow up on contracts. Staff oversees landscape and tree service contracts with contractors. Landscape contracts include West Broadway, North Fremont, Ord Grove, General Jim Moore, Co Avenue, and Monterey Road. And the city also allocates $60,000 per year to trim and remove trees as needed. We also assist with special events. So this requires 2 to 5 staff depending upon setup. So below is a list of special events that park staff sets up throughout the year. So you have Gold Coast Rods the Car Show. That's monthly between July and September. 4th of July is in July. Concours de Limon is in August. The Central Coast Model Boaters races are 2 times per year. Blues in the Park are 4 weekends out of the year. The City of Seaside's birthday is in October. Halloween is in October. And the tree lighting is in December. So we also do the Christmas setup, which requires all 5 staff to set up and pick up for Christmas. We do this yearly. So install the lights on the tree and trees around City Hall, check decoration lights, and install on light poles around the city. This takes about 5 weeks to perform. Remove all lights and decorations around the city after the first of the year. It takes about 3 weeks. Prep site for reservations. So this is at the parks. So it takes 1 to 2 staff, depending upon the number of rentals. We do this daily, weekly, depending upon reservations. Staff make sure the barbecues are cleaned out, the areas around the site is weed eated, and hardscape is cleaned of any debris. So then we also have Catino Park maintenance, which requires 2 to 3 staff, and we do this weekly. Weekly staff goes to Catino to blow out the skate park, clean hardscapes around the park, and sweep the new artificial turf as needed. So we also have projects that we do yearly. So that requires 3 to 5 staff, depending upon the size of the project. Staff tries to complete as many projects throughout the year as they can. Projects come in different sizes. The most recent project was the triangle at the north end of town. Staff removed dead trees and landscape, updated the irrigation with drip, planted new trees and landscape, and placed ground cover. This project required all 5 staff. We also do tree trimming in-house as needed for smaller trees. Staff is able to do. We just did one at Mescal Neal Park on the west side. Small equipment maintenance. So, you know, we use chainsaws, blowers, mowers, and weed eaters. So we need to have somebody that maintains that equipment to make sure it's always operational and the blades are sharp. Staff is also required to attend training. So through the city, we have anywhere from 10 to 12 trainings per year. These trainings can last anywhere from 4 to 8 hours. We also, some of our spray applicator and backflow certification holders, they're required to get continuing education credits. And so they have to take more on top of those 10 to 12 trainings a year. So that's basically what the park staff is doing throughout the year.
Hey, Dave, did I hear you mention that the city no longer owns the Home Depot parking lot?
Yes, that is correct.
So Home Depot purchased it.
You know, I don't know who purchased it. I just know that we no longer maintain it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Fortune, for your report. Any
May I-
other questions?
May I ask a question, Mr. Fortune?
Sure.
Couple of questions. What is it that's getting mowed? Is that grass or is that something else?
Well, in some cases, in the irrigated parks and open space, it's going to be grass. In the non-irrigated parks, it's going to be weeds.
What kind of weeds basically are they? Do you know? Are they like foxtails or are they something
Yeah,
else?
yeah, exactly.
Do you mow down the wild mustard and the wild radish? You know,
If it's out in where the lawn used to be, yes, we would mow that, or weed eat, depending upon where it's at.
Okay. They're just pollinators, so I was wondering if they really need to mow all that. But anyhow, you do a lot of stuff. Thank you. But I have one more question. On the boat races twice a year, are those people from out of town generally, or are they from our area? Do you know, or do you have any?
There is a couple local guys that are in there, but there are some guys from out of town as well. I think this is like the Northern California meeting place or something like that. So, but I know
that is correct.
Huh?
Okay.
That is correct. Yeah, it's a handful of guys that are locally, and then they do draw from outside the area when they have larger events.
Are they beneficial for us?
They pay all their fees.
Yeah.
Are the fees good?
I mean, it's good that we get fees for that park. It's generally not a park at Roberts Lake that we rent out. So that's always positive. But, you know, we do get, there is a lot of interest from the community too, that do go down there and view it. I know that it is pretty popular.
Hey, Dave, Dan, how long does that, how many days is that? 1, 2, or just weekends or what?
2 days.
It's usually Friday through Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, the 2 weekends a year, and then they may go out there and do a couple test runs where it's just a handful of guys. That doesn't require all the work that normally would occur when they rent.
I was just asking because I figured that when they would stay in town, spend money.
And
Well,
on that topic too, they do have a large national tournament that they are planning in 2022, and they did bring it to city council, I believe, and just let them know about it. So that will be a big event that would be coming and provide, potentially, revenue for the city in a variety of different ways.
Oh, okay.
It is a concern for me personally because there's wildlife out there, and I don't see that as a good thing for the wildlife, but
to that point, they did work a lot with the Audubon Society to make sure that their races were not. They've moved a lot of their dates because of the raft of the Herman's Gulls and everything. So they know about the birds and everything, and they tailor their races not around nesting season.
Can I ask one more question before Mr. Moulton gets in there? I'm sorry. Just a lot of interesting things here. You say you're down a person, and Mr. Fortune, I know your department's very busy. Do you ever hire temporary people? Like a laborer to work with you? I mean,
well, funding's been an issue, with the city. Right now, we currently have a part-time 30-hour a week person that we've kind of used in different departments depending upon what's going on. So he has assisted in parks, but he's also assisted in streets and wherever we have a hole and we need to get things completed. So.
Is there any possibility that you're going to be able to hire more people in the coming year? I hear we're doing pretty good.
That's the plan.
Good.
We're trying. We're going to council, but it's up to council to decide.
Thank you very much for answering my question.
Sure.
Anybody else have any questions? No?
Mr. Moulton does.
Okay.
No, Chris, Commissioner Moulton.
Yes, thank you. Kind of pigtailing on what Diane was saying. My question was for Mr. Fortune. Would you say that you're appropriately staffed under normal conditions to meet all the assignments on the park maintenance and upkeep schedule? I know you said that you have someone that's out long-term right now, but in under optimal conditions, would you say you're appropriately staffed?
No.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else have any questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Fortune.
Let's bring it to public comment, Bobby.
Oh, okay. Do we have any public comment on this item?
Members of the public wishing to make public comment, please use your raise your hand function. And Chair, it looks like Laura Murphy has her hand raised.
Oh,
go ahead.
Okay.
You may unmute yourself.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy.
I just wanted to say thank you so much, Mr. Fortune. That was a very informative presentation for myself as well. And wanted to just encourage the commission to consider that, knowing that the department is understaffed and there's so much to be done in our parks. It's a great opportunity to explore how we might best coordinate and cooperate with the community efforts that are underway to do work in parks, so that the department as well as those community groups are all working together towards the same ends. No specific suggestions at this time, but I just want to encourage that thought. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we currently work with FOSPA. We provide a trailer that has wheelbarrows and rakes and shovels and things. We bring it to the park when they are doing their cleanup days. And then we drop it off, allow them to use all the tools. And then at the end of their event, we'll come back and pick it up and dispose of any weeds, anything that they've picked up through the park. So.
Okay, members of the public still wishing to make public comment, please use the raise your hand function. Seeing no one, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the next item, number 5, update on the Laguna Grande Joint Powers Agency.
All right. We've got a request just to give an update on this. And for those of you that do not know, that I have taken over as the liaison on behalf of the city with the JPA, Laguna Grande JPA. I've attended one meeting so far. They had their first meeting after a hiatus like 2 weeks ago, basically due to COVID. I'm still learning a lot what's going on there. However, the last city council meeting, City Council did approve appropriating $24,982 to go to the city of Monterey, who also is appropriating that same amount. And then the Regional Park District is putting forward $60,000 for the trail maintenance study and environmental review of the park. So they did award, or they picked Bellinger Foster Steinmetz to conduct the survey. So once the other cities and jurisdictions allocate that money, they will sign the contract and start the study for that. Tomorrow, there's actually a meeting down at the park with one of the biologists to do a biotic study for the park as kind of a beginning steps for the trail maintenance plan and the environmental review. So that'll be happening this week. And then we also have another meeting this week to kind of go over and create a trail maintenance schedule as well, to kind of, keep the trails down there and kind of make them a little bit more walkable moving forward. But a lot of that really depends too, once they get the, to prepare once we get the okay with the environmental review, because it will still have to go to the Coastal Commission as well as the Water Quality Board. And my understanding that even once everything is all said and done, this is like a year process. So it is going to take some time, but it is definitely some steps in the right direction. And I will look forward to keep updating the commission as we have more meetings about what's going on.
Thank you, Dan.
I'll entertain any questions if anyone has.
Anyone? Do we need to ask for public comment on this?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any public comment on this item?
Not seeing any, Bobby.
Seeing no
Okay.
attendees, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, okay. Anybody on our committee, on our commission have any questions of Dan? No. Okay, moving on to the next item, number 6. Review and discuss tree survey and make recommendations. Okay. Everyone has had a chance to look at the survey, I hope.
Can I just sort of
Yes,
recap
yes, you may.
This tree survey? It was originating from the environmental committee because they noticed that we need to pay more attention to to getting trees in the city. We are a tree city, USA. And then kind of not too long after that, they saw that we were going to do tree planting as one of our work plans projects. So they passed on the tree survey to us so we can work with it and survey the community about their interest in wanting more trees. Do they want to plant a tree? Do they want to see particular trees in the area? And this survey is now to change the way we want, take things off, put things on. So if you've had a chance to look at it, I can take your suggestions and start to modify it, and then we can, and I'll send it out again, and then we can decide if we want to use it. Anybody
Does
have
anyone have any,
Okay, Rick. Oh,
any suggestions?
Rich
Yeah,
does.
I'm just curious, how is this going to be pushed out? As far as
It could be
how
a
are you gonna
mailer.
distribute the survey?
It could be a mailer. It could be online. It could be, you know, handed out to at different events. You know, and then
One thing I would suggest, if it is a mailer, you're really gonna have to do a self-address. I mean, you're gonna have to have an envelope and a stamp ready for them to put it in and mail it. I you know, dealing with these things in the past, they're hard to get back if you don't kind of encourage that with an envelope that's already addressed to the city and stamped. So just a thought out there.
maybe I can ask Dan how you have done surveys previously, and what would you suggest?
I mean, we've done surveys primarily just online. However, I do recognize that not everyone would be so inclined to go online. So I do agree with Commissioner Cadigan about if we do go that route, to do include the self-addressed envelope. One thing we need to think about as well is, while the bar did approve pollinators in parks, which does include trees and shrubs that might house birds and other wildlife, we should still go out to the public in these areas of the park. For example, if we say that we want to plant 4 trees in Lincoln Cunningham, right? So then we would have to send a mailer out and ask for public comment. And I think this would probably be with your survey here, to the areas, to the neighbors in that park, just to get their input on the types of trees that they would like to see. So we just should definitely just keep that in the back of our minds as we are getting through this process. While it looks like we won't have to go to other commissions, we should still get as much public input as possible.
On the planting of our tree project?
Yeah,
Tree.
so like if we know already that we're going to put 4 trees in 5 parks, and we already identified the 5 parks we're going to put those trees in, then we would send this survey out to those neighbors in close proximity to that park to get their input.
It's like a notification and a survey.
Yes. Like say, you know, the Parks and Rec Commission is planning on planting 4 trees in this park. We would like your input. Please fill out the attached survey. And then you could also put on there, or you could go to the city's website with the link to the survey and so on and so forth. However, different modes we want to do. And we have the capability of creating the mailers to that area to create that radius, kind of like what we did for pickleball.
I have a question. As far as this goes, I mean, I'm all for it and I think it's great and I love trees, but the average people in my neighborhood are going to look at this and be like, fireplace. If we're being honest, I'd like to see an education piece where we're educating the community about some of these trees. Like I walk up and down Co Avenue and there's strawberry trees on there that are, that's all edible stuff. We go and glean off of there all the time because it's free, it's edible, it's good for us, and it's right there. But probably people in this meeting right now are like, what's a strawberry tree? And I think getting some education somehow to the community before we hit them with a survey, in my opinion, would be important, just because you're going to get a higher turnout of people if they kind of have an idea of what we're talking about. That's just my opinion.
Anybody else?
Yes, I agree with Mr. Moulton. We'll definitely have to push the educational piece, but I have two concerns. If we do go the fruit tree route, is there allocated water source for when the trees are planted? Because I know the last thing we want to do is plant a tree and just have it die out. And two, would the maintenance of the trees fall on the commission, or would that something that also be put into Public Works?
Good
Well,
question.
regarding the work plan trees, the work project, those are basically, as of now, we're talking about just native trees, not necessarily fruit trees. But in general, in addition to this, like if somebody wants to plant a fruit tree and that sort of thing in a park, that has to be approved by, would it be Dave Fortune in his area?
Good question. I'm not sure what the process would be if the public would want to plant a tree. I think that goes back to the question before when it was asked about the memorial trees, because we don't have a policy in place for planting a memorial tree. And I could see that, selecting a fruit tree to be planted in the park would kind of go on that same line. But when it goes back to the maintenance and the upkeep, it would be up to the Parks Department after the fact to water those trees and take care of them. Go ahead,
So
Dave.
there is no policy currently about trees, memorial trees or anything like that. So I don't know if the commission wants to take that to city council or what. I guess ultimately city council would have to approve it.
Yeah.
Dave, are there any, and I'm sorry, commissioners, but maybe this will help a little bit. Are there any parameters with us being a tree city that would hold some light here and kind of help with this discussion?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't know offhand. I don't know.
We're not required to plant a certain amount of trees each year or anything like that as our affiliation.
No.
Okay, any other comments or discussion on the tree surveys or recommendations for that?
Public comment.
Public comment. Okay, it's open for the public comment on this item.
Laura Murphy, the floor is yours to speak for public comment.
Hi, thank you very much. Very much on behalf of the Environmental Commission, appreciate that you are taking on the survey to consider. Absolutely want to echo what Commissioner Moulton and Daniels said in terms of education outreach with the community. I believe that if any commission is well positioned to do community engagement work, that the Parks and Rec Commission is it. with
We're losing you, Laura.
department being very, actively engaged in community outreach, deep engagement with communities around the consciousness, I guess, in Seaside, and especially in our park, in terms of it to particular neighborhoods, particular parks, anything, any creative ideas that you have. The Environmental Commission would also probably be happy to partner and support any efforts that are undertaken. So just wanted to put that out as well. And then I also am concerned that Mr. Fortune may be incorrect in his assessment that being designated as a Tree City USA does not come with any stipulations. I do believe that it does. I don't
Oh, Ms. Murphy, you're breaking up and we can no longer hear you.
have those in front of me, but to follow up, that designation that the city. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Is there any other public comments?
Seeing no one.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the next item, number 7. Provide 3 tentative dates in June to hold a joint Art and History Commission and Parks and Recreation Commission meeting to review and discuss a submitted application for park, recreational facility, city-owned building, and street naming application. Okay, so we need to come up with 3 dates in June.
All right, so commissioners, I received an application from a member of the community about having a street named after a former city manager. So per our policy, it does state that the application needs to go to the commissions, to both the Art and History Commission and the Parks and Recreation Commission, as well as have an open public comment period for the community to weigh in on this. So when I received the application, I didn't catch that piece of the 30 days public comment period where it has to be publicly noticed. So we missed the window for our May meetings to do this individually. So it was recommended that we hold a joint meeting to come up to discuss this matter between the 2 commissions and then provide recommendation to council based on the application. So if we were to move forward with these dates, let's just say starting tomorrow, or I'd have 30 days to notice this to the public for the next set of dates. So the Art and History Commission at their meeting on Tuesday voted for, they provided 3 dates, June 24th, June 28th, and June 29th as possible dates to hold a special meeting.
I make a motion that we accept those 3 days.
Well, I think at this point, what we need to do is we need to come up, we have their 3 days. So if there is a day that works for this commission, let's select that day, let the Art and History Commission aware, so then I can publicly notice the application for 30 days. So if there's a day here that works best for everybody, let's go ahead and have the commission make that recommendation. So just looking ahead, and this is be for June. So the 24th is a Thursday, the 28th is a Monday, and the 29th is a Tuesday.
I would like to make a motion that we meet with the Art and History Commission on Monday, June 28th.
I second that motion.
Beautiful. Okay.
Public comment?
Okay, public comment.
Members of the public wishing to make public comment at this time, please use your raise your hand function. We will call on you. Seeing no one at this time.
Thank you. Okay, so I guess we'll take a vote on Monday, June 28th.
It'll be a 5:30 time.
Yes, that works for me. Okay, so we want to do a roll call vote?
Yes. All right. Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
Commissioner Nielsen,
Aye.
Commissioner White,
Aye.
Commissioner Daniels,
No.
Commissioner Moulton,
Aye.
Commissioner Cadigan,
Aye.
Vice Chair Maxwell,
Aye.
Chair Pacheco.
Aye.
Oh, he's back?
Motion passes 8-1.
8-1.
Okay,
I'm sorry. Hold
thank
on.
you. So is Chair?
7-1. 7-1. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. The chair is still gone. Okay, moving on to the next item.
Hold on, Bobby. You got
Excuse
a
me?
question.
I do. Sorry.
Sorry, Mr. Maxwell. My question is, are we going to be getting any kind of information about the person who they're trying to name the street after so we can independently investigate this prior to the special meeting on the 28th?
Now that we have the dates, I will send both commissions the documents I have.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, moving on to item number 7, reports from recreation staff.
All right. Well, I'm happy to announce that today we actually had registration day for rec programs. It's been the first registration day we had in over a year. And so it was really exciting to bring classes back this summer. Our swim lessons sold out in 3 minutes online. So we are definitely at a good place. We're excited to get the staff back, to see the smiling faces of the kids that come to our programs, and really looking forward to a fun summer as we, kind of start to get back to normal. So we've been also hosting, we have a mass vaccination clinic happening at Oldemire Center on Monday, hosted by the VNA. And we've also approved 4 other ones with the county. So there'll be quite a few vax clinics happening at Oldemire in the next, couple months, which is nice. We had a second round of one last week, and just having people in the building was a nice touch. It's been so quiet in there, and just hearing people around and about. It's really bringing, some good vibes back to the center. So we're excited about that. We're really looking forward to just getting back out into the community and really, showing everyone, giving them a nice welcome back to recreation. So we are happy, and it's pretty much all I have right now. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mewis. Reports from the park staff.
Hi, hey, Dan. This is Misha Patel, Public Works Director and City Engineer, and I'll be giving the update today. Let me know if you can't hear me. So Ellis Park, that is the project where council awarded additional CDBG funding on April 15th. So we're able to divert some of the general fund to now the CDBG. And the design of that project is done. And just to remind you what we'll be doing there, we're putting in a sports court that includes soccer, basketball, and volleyball. It'll be like one court that we have like a lot of striping, so you can use it interchangeably for those sports. And there'll be an ADA pathway and improvements, a picnic area, playgrounds, grass fields, and landscaping. And this will replace the horseshoe pit area. And we're gonna bid out the project prior to the new fiscal year and award the project in July of this year. Laguna Grande, the park right over here, across from City Hall. The consultant is working hard on finishing the plans. The plans were expected to be completed to 95% last week. The staff member who's working on this did have an injury in the last couple of weeks, so I haven't been able to follow up on that, but it was supposed to be 95% complete. And as a reminder, this project will install these musical instruments for the disabled, and also a merry-go-round that is accessible for the disabled. And there'll be a new pathway, and there might be also, I think that's about it. And that one we're planning for late summer construction. Catino, again, that's just slightly delayed because of the staff members' issue, but that was going to go to council on 5/20. It'll go to council on 6/3 to award a amendment to the design contract for the designer and Monterey Bay Engineers. But what they're designing to install in this next phase is a new playground, a new parking lot with lighting, new lighting on this new area that's being developed, a pump track, new landscaping to screening for the houses, and closer to the Boys and Girls Club, additional grass, tree removal, storm treatment, addition of another set of bleachers, benches, and an ADA pathway. So there'll be a lot being done. We'll exhaust the rest of the bond funding. And again, that's going to go to council on June 3rd for the design amendment. Highland Otis, that's 100% complete in design. So we will put this project out to bid in the beginning of the next fiscal year. So right after the fiscal year starts. And so the project should be in construction this summer. And as a reminder, Highland Otis is installing a swing set and an ADA parking space at the top of the park. The swing set that was at the bottom of the park, it was painted red. That one wasn't in good shape. It was rusting at the bottom. We had to remove it last week. And no plans to put in a new one at this time because it needs like this safe zone around this swing area. But we could easily put more swings over there once we figure out the safe zone, or we could put something else there. And that's about it for my update.
Thank you, Ms. Patel. Does anyone have any questions?
I have a good handful, Vice Chair Maxwell.
Wow.
Oh, you know what? Since you're back, Chair Pacheco, you might as well take over the meeting. Thank you.
Okay, well, I apologize, guys. I had a middle school keynote. You know what? It's not even that interesting. Ms. Patel, here's my question. I have a lot of them. Can you expand on for me what 95% means? Like, just so we have an idea what that even equates to.
It means all the design is done. There's just like, you know, few cleanup items. So it should be complete in design.
To be correct, then we're still talking about the Laguna Grande project. So now we still have to go to bid as well?
Yes. And I had my schedule on my desk, which I was trying to look for. And I have slightly misplaced it because, yeah, Councilmember Pacheco called with some questions earlier this evening, and now I have misplaced it. But anyhow, go ahead with your questions.
Well, the next one came to the schedule. So we've been 2.5 years in the making here, which I know has frustrated many of us. Normally I'm pretty affable, but at this point, when we say late summer, are we saying August, September? What is the likelihood that it actually starts? And what is the likelihood we'll be here at 3 years asking the same questions?
Oh, no, it'll be this summer for sure. You won't be asking the same question. I mean, it's a pretty, there's only a couple items that are being installed this part.
Awesome. I appreciate you. Subsequent question. We heard in a report earlier that we have 5 park staff. Is that correct?
I was okay. If that's what Dave Pacheco's, if that was what Dave Fortune said, I was not on the call at that moment.
Okay, so here's my question about that, and I'm the better looking Pacheco, just so we're all on the same one. With the 5 park staff, and I assume we're going to expand that. I mean, every Saturday I go to a park cleanup where citizens of Seaside are often doing the cleanup. Average age is probably, it's not polite to ask ages, but I'll say the average age is probably much older than the average bear. And I get the opportunity, thank you, to witness 80-year-old men wheeling wheelbarrows and doing a lot of work that should be maybe not necessarily in their area of expertise. So my question is, at what point do we have enough staff to at least offer a single staff member to help avoid having an 80-year-old man wheel stuff around? Is there a point of, is that going to happen in the next budget, the next 2 years? How can we get the people of our city who are putting the work in some support from city staff?
That's something that we'll have to plan and to work on. I mean, I don't think I can answer that right now. Because we'll have to come up with some plan and coordinate with these outside groups.
My question is really, let's pretend there are no outside groups. At what point can the city itself maintain its own parks at a level that's basically up to a standard? Are we ever going to get there? Is it 10 staff, or what is the number? We have a basic idea what the number is? Are we going to request it in the budget? That's my question.
I thought it was requested in the budget. With this budget.
Mr. Pacheco, could I join in on this conversation?
I would love for you to join in. Thank you, Mr. Fortune. You are the expert. I'm just a nobody with the commit title.
Okay. I've been with the city for almost 32 years now. When I first started for the city in 1989, there were 17 park staff, and that was when we were only 3 square miles. Or now we've expanded out to 9 square miles. So we want to get back to there, but funding, we've had to lay people off just a couple of years ago. Every couple of years, because of the economy and things like that, we're just having to lay staff off. So I'd love to be back where we were.
Thank you, Mr. Fortune. My question is really, how can we help you, or how can we make noise to help get you support? Because it's not a finger pointing. I really want to help you guys get back to full strength, so you're not in this position.
Well, it's up to the city council to allocate funds for the department.
So would it be helpful if we start bothering city councilmen to make sure that the department's supported? Or how can we help you?
Yeah, if you can bother them to get us more staffing, that would be greatly appreciated.
I would love nothing more to do that. Thank you. Awesome. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions for our lovely parks and departments? Okay. Mr. Muse, correct me. Do we go to public comment on staff reports? I don't think we do, but I thought I'd check.
Oh, you don't. So now you just move on with the agenda.
I appreciate you. We're going to go to reports to commissioners. Commissioner Daniels, would you like to start us off?
Yes, sir. Just with my stewarding for Havana Salas Park, we are starting to wood chip. I've noticed the ground's water retention is really bad, and we're trying to conserve as much water as possible. So I found a gardening technique called Back to Eden, which is basically just covering the land with about an inch or two of wood chips. It really helps with water conservation, and it will make sure that we don't have to use the water buffalo as frequently. But it's basically just me by myself right now spreading the wood chips. I would definitely like to plan a day to either have outside organizations come out and help, or maybe the commissioners can plan a day. But that's really all I have to report out as no. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you for all the great work you're doing out there. Commissioner Moulton.
Still working on locations for community garden. Not much else to report at this time.
Thank you, Commissioner Moulton. Commissioner Nielsen.
Thank you, Chair Franco. Chris and Robert, I know Robert, you wanted to start a community garden, and Chris wants to start a community garden. Can we form a subcommittee for doing that? It's just a suggestion. You might want to get a hold of each other that way. My report is, I don't know if you all have the water buffalo schedule, but for parks to get water, they have to have water shipped in, so to speak, from Dave Fortune's department. And on Monday, it's Capra Park. On Tuesday, it's Manzanita Stewart. On Wednesday, it's Havana Solis and Portola Leslie. On Thursday, it's Mescal Neal Park. On Friday, it's Lincoln Cunningham and Highland Otis as needed. And if you want more information on this, you can contact Monty Miller at the Public Works Department, Parks Department. That's what my notes say. Also, regarding helping out in FOSPA parks, they do have a rotating schedule of their, I think it's 8 parks now because Fernando Park was added to that list. The next one is at Beta Park, 10 to 12 a.m., 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on May 22nd at Beta Park. If anybody, let's see, if anybody wants a schedule, please contact FOSPA and they will put you on their notification list. I have something else. I wanted to say I drove by the pickleball area today 2 different times. I really didn't see anybody there at all. So I thought today was one of the days that they played pickleball, but there was nobody there in the morning. And I looked around there and it looked like there's quite a bit of parking available there on the court side of the park. And I think that's the only way to get there, right? Is on Wheeler. Am I correct, Dan? No, there's another way.
There is kind of a back way I've been recently made aware of off of Plumas. It's a little...
People park there too, though, on Plumas?
I believe it's at the end of Plumas, and you can park there, maybe a little bit longer of a walk down through the Greenbelt.
Do you think that would be a more, well, I know it's not up for discussion right now, but more practical place for pickleball players to park?
I think if they
So-
utilize any area to park that is away from the residents would be practical.
Yeah, maybe we can pass that on to the pickleball people. But anyhow, also, I just wanted to tell you, Dan, that I know someone that goes to schedules swim times, and that they really compliment your staff on their customer service. It's very good. And I know there was something else. But I guess that's it, actually. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Nielsen. Mr. Fortune, did you have something you wanted to add there? I saw you come back for a second. Okay. Moving along to, oh, sorry, Mr. Fortune.
So I just wanted to say that that upper area that leads down to the tennis courts, there's no pathway. It's just a dirt path. It's the PG&E easement that runs along Plumas there. So it runs down to there. I mean, they can park there and walk it, but there's no pathways or anything that are or ADA accessibility.
Thank you for the clarification, Mr. Fortune. Commissioner White.
I was just happy when I go by Catino Park is really being used for activities that it was designed for. And also the new facility down for Sonoma, that is being well used. So I was happy to see that. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner White. Commissioner Cadigan.
I'll just, I'm going to work on that document, and I'll send it to Dan and Terry to review, and we'll go from there.
Thank you for your work with that, Commissioner Cadigan. Vice Chair Maxwell. You're muted, Vice Chair Maxwell.
Sometimes that's a good thing. I just want to say thank you all for all your hard work and participation on this commission. And other than that, I have nothing to report.
Thank you, Vice Chair Maxwell, and thank you for stepping in for me as I fumble through speech. So on my report, I'll just say I've been really moved and touched, and have enjoyed the time I've spent at parks and seeing those communities come together and really put the effort forth. It's been an incredible experience, and I'm really happy that I showed up one day and continue to show up. We have great people in our city. Thank you to all of our commissioners for all you guys do. I know we have a lot of projects on the wire, and that's excellent. I guess the last part, I'll apologize. I realize that I get, normally I try to be affable, which I know is to the annoyance of staff, but for the most part, I am frustrated and I get upset when we're not enabling our city staff to do the best job possible. And I realize that I'm new to the city, and I just came back from living in other cities, and I've seen how those cities run. But besides all the affability, like, we have an opportunity to do better for our city. And I don't, in my heart of hearts, feel that our staff is being given enough to do that. So I want you to understand, Mr. Mewis, Ms. Patel, Mr. Fortune, that's where it comes from. And, I just direct us when you have the chance, and I will die on a sword for you, happily, to make sure you guys have the best tools possible to do what you do, because you're so important to the way our city runs and the opportunities our youth have. And I think that's worth fighting for. So I'm sorry if my passion comes off as misdirected or arrogant or ignorant, but that's where it comes from. And so hopefully you can direct us, and we can become more of a commission that helps you get your job done and does things, as opposed to high concepts and just there. So that's all my report is. And at this point, we will entertain adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion's unanimous.
All right, everyone. Thank you. Have a nice evening.